for this assignment, you're going to need a black piece of paper and a white piece of paper, a white colored pencil, and a regular pencil or a black marker, black colored pencil, just the opposite of white. The first thing we're going to do is be drawing yourself holding a flashlight. So there's different things that you can do, that you can choose. You can change the clothes, you can change the shoes and the hair. But you'll follow along generally, and then don't forget you can make those changes. So I want my person to be somewhat over here because I want the flashlight to be pointing upward. So I'm going to start by drawing this circle, and I'm going to draw light first. Okay, eventually I can draw a little bit darker. But I'm going to start by drawing light. I'm going to give myself some buns at the top, so I'm going to still start the same as the drawing here, but instead of leaving it just like that, I'm going to give it two kind of circular shapes towards the top to show that I have buns. It kind of looks like Minnie Mouse ears, right? I'm going to give myself two ears on either side, a C and a backward C. This is like a C here. This actually looks like the letter D when it's up against the ear. My eyes, I'm going to do a rainbow shape. You can even leave it up like that if you want, or if you want your eyes to be more open, you can do then on the bottom, connect it with a smile shape, and it makes an almond shape. The inside is going to be circles. You can do a little smile shape for the nose, or if you want, you know, here's your face and your eyes. You can do kind of the letter C for your nose. You can come up and swoop down. Okay, whatever you'd like. If you want your eyes staying like this and you give them eyelashes, you can do that. If you have your hair like this and you have your little bangs and you want your hair to come down to the side of your face, you can also do that here. There's many different things you can do to make it your own. You do not have to copy this exactly. In fact, I think I'm going to do more like that for my nose and a smile. Excellent. You'll see that if you press a little harder on your paper, it's going to be more true white. But because I'm not going to be erasing anything, I want to draw light first. I just wanted to show you what this would look like. All right, next up, we're going to do our arm. Like I said, this is going to be the direction of the flashlight, how you're going to do your arm. So for example, if I want my flashlight pointing up, I would make a direction of line first, and then I would come down here and connect. And then here would be my arm, my hand. My hand, I come up a little bit, I give it a thumb, and then I just swoop up to make it kind of look like mittens. And then I can make my flashlight. My flashlight are just a few simple shapes, rectangle with two thinner rectangles on top. Now, if I want my arm facing down, okay, I'm going to draw a diagonal for the direction that I'd like, okay? And then here, instead of coming back up, I leave it down. And then I create that second line down here, close it off. I'm going to still do my mitten hand, and then I have my flashlight. Now, the cool thing about this and the choice that you're making is what you're going to want to shine your flashlight on. You know, if it's pointing upward, maybe your flashlight is shining on, I don't know, an owl or a bird in the sky or some squirrel in the tree at night. If it's pointing downward, maybe it's a fox or a rabbit or something that's down on the ground, a spider. So just depending on where your flashlight is what it's going to be shining on. I think that's a pretty cool decision that you can make. So I'm going to do mine pointing upward. Here's my flashlight. I'm going to do a rectangle shape and then two smaller rectangles on top. Okay, so now that I have my arm and my flashlight, I'm going to draw the rest of my body. So I'm going to come down here and I'm going to give myself, I think I'm going to give myself like a a shirt with a little skirt at the bottom. I think that could be pretty. So notice from the head, I connected it to about the arm. And then down here, I'm going to do a triangle shape, but I'm going to round the bottom off. This is going to be my shirt. And then for, if you would like pants, you're just going to continue that down. I'm going to curve it. I like to give it some motion. And instead of coming across here for your skirt, you would come up and create some shorts or some pants. It's kind of whatever you want. You know what? I think I'm going to leave it as pants. I like that. Maybe I'll give it some pockets later. Actually, I'll give it pockets now. Why not, right? Who doesn't love some pockets? All right, now let's go for some boots. I'm going to do 2 lines on the back side of my pants. I'm going to come down. This one's going to be a little shorter because we're going to curve it downward and then meet it. So it looks like there's some toes in the front. I like that. I'm going to give it some texture here, just like the picture. How awesome is my person? I'm really, really loving it. Okay, I'm looking forward to seeing what you do. I'll show you a few examples of different outfits you can do on the back here. Maybe if you want a dress. Okay, but then the same thing with your boots. I kind of like the idea of wearing boots because you're exploring in the woods, you know, so you want to make sure that you're wearing good shoes so you're not, you know, getting all muddy and you can romp around in whatever you have. Let's see, for this guy here, I'm going to come down because it's now a little bit lower. Let's give him a shirt. And then what about maybe some shorts this time? So a little bit shorter coming up here. And then here's the legs are a little longer. Since it's not pants, you want to see some of those legs. And then again, my boots. So longer on one side, shorter on the other, and then you curve it down. You know, for this guy's hair, maybe comes across like this. And then I'm going to give it some curly hair at the top. I think that looks kind of nice. So again, change your hair to what you want. You can do your eyes how you'd like it, your nose, and then a nice little smile. Awesome. I'm really excited to see how these come out. All right, now on to the next step. All right, next up, we're going to actually create the flashlight part. So for this, you're going to take a piece of paper out of your sketchbook, thin white paper, and you're going to line it up. The edge of the paper is going to line up with the edge of your flashlight. So if your flashlight's pointing down, your paper is not going to be coming up this way. You're going to turn it until the two meet each other. Okay? If your flashlight is pointing up like mine, then you're going to make sure that you're not going up and down, but you turn, and rotate it until you get lined up here. And this is where you take your pencil. And then so from the edges of that flashlight, okay, it's probably a little hard to see. I'll try to zoom in. In fact, you know what? I'll do it in black marker so it's easier for you guys to see. Okay, I'm going to create, I think my edge of my paper is here, so I don't want to go too far. Create the lines for my flashlight. And then I am going to round it off. Okay, so that is going to be the end of my flashlight, and you are going to then cut it out. Don't forget, scissors point away from you, always. And then you turn your paper kind of like the wheel of a car, right? And then you're going to glue it onto here. So notice how now I have my flashlight. I'm so excited to show you guys how we're going to be drawing our creatures and what the flashlight is going to do is going to be really cool. Kind of like an optical illusion. So I line it up again after I put my glue down. And here we go. So for now, while we're waiting for this to dry and getting ready for the next step, just take your sketchbook and put it right on top. So it has a nice body, a nice weight to it, so it stays flat. All right, let's see the next step. Okay, so for our next step, what we are going to do is draw our background, where we are in the woods and what we are going to shine the light on. I want you to have at least 1 or 2 trees, a few animals, and some, greenery, some plant life and rocks to fill the space. And anything that overlaps your flashlight, that's what the flashlight is going to shine on. So what you're doing here is thinking about, if I have my girl with the flashlight shining up, what could potentially be in the sky that is nocturnal that it could shine on. So here, maybe I have an owl that's flying through the sky. I have some butterflies. Oh, I love this one here is a, what is it, a lightning bug? Is that what they're called? Yeah, a lightning bug. So things that you might see up. If your hand is pointing downward, like this one here, it could be shining on a raccoon or a skunk, a bunny, some plant life, things like that. So let's get started. I'm going to start by drawing my trees. And for my trees, I'm going to make sure it extends all the way up to the top of my page. So I'm not really seeing much detail up there. So here we go. Oh, I'm going to just draw right on top of it because while it's white, it's not really showing anything. So I'm okay with that. And then I'm going to come up here and then maybe just do these V shapes for the top. I'm going to save the texture for a little bit later. And I'm going to then take this here, my black marker, or if you have a black colored pencil or crayon, you can do that. So anytime it overlaps your flashlight, you're going to change from the white colored pencil to your black drawing tool. So now let's talk about, I'm going to do an owl here flying into, maybe it's going to go to this hole in the tree. Okay, so I'm going to start it with some pencil first and then I'll go over it. So here's my owl. And I'm not worrying so much about it coming out into the black area because then just the flashlight won't be shining on that, which is kind of neat. So here's my swoop, and I'm going to do the bumpy lines for my wings. And I think I'm going to have this one where the wing is going to look like it's behind the tree. So when I get to my tree, I'm going to stop. All right, here I have my tail and my feet. I probably could have made my owl a little bit smaller, but I'm okay with it looking like this. Okay, so now what I'm doing is I'm going over everything on the black paper with my white pencil. And then anytime it touches the flashlight, just like with the tree, I'm going to go ahead and do it with my black marker. And this is going to really make it look like that flashlight is shining on my owl. It really does create this awesome optical illusion, as though you really have a flashlight. I'm going to do some texture in here. So you really do have a flashlight on your piece of paper. How cool does that look? I might add some more detail as I go, but I'm going to go ahead and speed mine up. I don't think you need to see me drawing everything this slowly. And just notice when I put some detail in, what does that look like? Where am I putting in texture, right? Where am I adding grass to make it look like I'm not floating on air, right? So things along those lines. So like, for example, down here, I might just do these textured lines to show that there's some grass. I'll probably put grass behind here. So just watch as I go and you can see other things that I have the flashlight shining on. All right, have fun. I'm looking forward to seeing what you guys do. And here we go. I'll start drawing my stuff.